This is the dual carriageway, and we're looking in a northeasterly direction. And the dual carriageway will have a northbound lane and a southbound lane, and the trees, the palm trees down the middle, which will be eventually will have a green belt all the way down to the sea. We're approximately 5,000 feet from the sea. As we go through here, this is another view as we see the range, the elevations, panning through, coming back around, over to the, now we're going in the southerly directions, pardon me. One of the field trucks. This is looking south, down the dual carriageway, moving to the west, facing the westerly area. You can see the high range in the back to the hill. There again, panning into the brush, moving forward. The high range that you see with a cloud behind it is where the golf club two-story building would be. And this is the dual carriageway heading again to the north. On the frontage road again, this again is looking to the south. This time we're turning to the easterly direction. You can see the rock cut that was done to get this road in at this elevation. As we pan around, still looking in the easterly direction. And now you're looking out at the sea from the top of this knoll, and the frontage road, dual carriageway continuing down. This is just across the road from the previous shot. There again, now I'm looking towards the sea, and where the dual carriageway swings around to the east, to the west, sorry. We are on the top of one of the hills, 85-foot height elevation, looking westerly to the top of another hill on the west range. As we pan across, we come down and we look, we see the dual carriageway, we see the, if you look close, you got to, down through here, whoops, I got to pick up higher. There we go, down through there, over, out, and as we look at the sea, you can see part of the flushing channel, the sea itself. The salt pond is that brownish colored water, and the land between the brownish colored water and the sea is the peninsula. And we go all the way down. As the salt pond continues, that will be where the marina will be. The palm trees in the far distance are the far northeast corner of the property. And going through, you see the east carriageway, or each roadway, that follows all the way around the east half of the property and into the east ridge that goes through the property. Another high hill. There are 3 ranges that go through. This is again from the high hill, looking at the dual carriageway heading towards the sea. It gives you just a little better view of the salt pond as we look down from the hill back over to the sea. The elevation of the peninsula is about 25 feet above sea level. So we go pan all the way down, all that area in from the dual carriageway. A salt pond will be excavated for the marina. Looking at the flushing channel, looking westward, northwesterly towards the sea, and this will become the main entrance into the marina. This channel was excavated to a depth of 12 feet. It will be widened to 120 feet wide. You can see the expanse. The land on the right that I'm now panning down is the peninsula. This is still part of the flushing channel coming through. This is fill that I'm standing on. That is the access road that runs down the center to the east, all the way down the center to the far easterly property line. This is the extent that it was excavated in the marina. Back around, you can see behind the bush, you'll see more excavation. You can see back in there, we've still been excavated. And this is looking back south, in the south direction, on the dual carriageway. This is a closer view of the marina that has been excavated and will become part of the main marina when this area is excavated. We are on the area which will become the lodge site. I'm looking in a westerly direction towards the pine forest. Come around as we come through this area here. See the view. That's the ocean on the side out there. Looking down towards the panoramic view that will exist. There's one of the pieces of equipment doing the road grading, putting a parallel road along the side of the flushing channel. The land you see is the start. On the other side of the cut is part of the peninsula. As we now are beginning to pan easterly, we go along the shoreline, you can see the view and the expanse. This point, that is the far, far northeast corner of the property. And it comes around into the natural bay, beautiful sand. The road that you see now is the road that is on the peninsula. As we pan around and along, that is the flushing channel. As we go into the flushing channel, we go into the marina. That's the salt pond, and that is the far easterly ridge of the island. Again, the salt pond and its expanse, which will become marina. So we look down, that is the existing marina. We're now looking at the range of hills that run through the midsection of the property. You'll see that it's very interesting to see how they've been cut. The roads have been cut. This is the carriageway that heads back towards the airport. We're now looking in a southerly direction. You can see the definition that exists on the property. This is the beach at the sand lodge, sand beach at the lodge, looking east, down through the beach. The lodge is up and over the top of this hill behind the sea grate. And there again, looking back along the beach, further along the beach. And at this point here where we're looking at, where the rock out, right here, as we look towards the rock outcrop, this is the location of two of the golf course holes being designed by Von Hagee. This is part of the area that has been cleared for the lodge. And this is the top of the hill where the lodge would be, where I'm looking. As we come down, we pan through the area here, which is presently designated as lodges or cottages, swimming pools, etc. for the development. You notice how lush the undergrowth is. This is the roadway standing in the roadway that presently leads to the pine we call the pine forest, which is casuarina tree growth, and a beautiful beach beyond. This is at the sand beach at the pine forest, looking east, and what you're looking at is where one of the golf course holes will be. And then as we go into the pine forest, and back around, looking back, and the sand that you see here extends from the sea about 500 feet back into the wilderness, if you wish to call it that. Now I'm looking westerly down the beach. The property extends from this point almost 4,000 feet to the east property line. And the view we have of the sea, we are at high tide. The sea is very calm today. And in some cases, you can see where the reef, which is about 1,500 feet offshore, the waves are just breaking over it. This is a protected basin swimming area. This is the Peninsula Road, which runs approximately down the center line of the peninsula. I'm looking east. As we come around, you'll notice that this part of the salt pond, and the range of hills. This is the leading front range of hills that divide the property. The road that you see there going up is the road to the high hill. That's part of the dual carriageway. That path you see going up the hill there, the golf lodge would be on top of that hill with a panoramic view. As we come back down, back into the salt pond, and again looking now, we're beginning to look westerly across the property with the further range of hills. We're at the northeast portion of the property. The point that we're looking at is the northeast corner of the property, which extends around the bend, which where the east flushing channel would be. This you'll see the beautiful beach here. It's a very fine sandy beach. We are on the peninsula. You see the ocean. Now we're looking in a westerly direction, and you can see that the expanse of beach is formidable. There's roughly 3,500 feet of beach in here, all sand, all the way around to the point that we're now looking at. Again, we're at high tide. You see the ocean. You cannot see the reef that's out there, but we have a very gentle sea. We are at the ocean front, looking southerly into the mouth of the Flushing Channel. See the rock cut, the vertical rock face that we have on there. Back around, and this is to the beach where with the lodge beach, and moving around all the way around to where the golf course would come out to the sea. We are standing at the rocky point at the mouth of the Flushing Channel looking east. That is the far east property line. See the beach flows around, goes back into the bay, comes back out to a point, and continues all the way down the beach here. You can appreciate the view, looking out into the sea. This is looking now to the west, and back towards the pine forest, and further down, looking at the forest, you'll see where the golf course will come out. Rocky Promenade at that point right there is where the golf course will come to the sea. The property continues further down to that set of trees right there to a point called Fence Rock. You can see some of the waves as the tide recedes beginning to break over the reef, which is about 1,500 feet out, and creates a protected basin both for fishing and swimming, ships, boats coming in and out. Last look at the beach. The view is so fantastic, you have to see it to believe it. We are presently on top of the highest hill, and this is looking due east out into the ocean, which is east of the project. We come back around, we're coming back into the property. And the tower in the background is the Batelco Tower on the far south side of the island. As we pan around, you see the dual carriageway that comes in. Another one of our access roads. Again, another one of the access roads that we have carved out. That is the location of the other high hill. You come into another view of another area that we've cleared off on the top. The area that you're now looking at, bring it in, that is the existing Flushing Channel Marina area. And the area which you see right there, that is the place where the lodge would be situated. Now going in a northerly direction, as we look out towards the sea, you can see the waves breaking over the reef that extends offshore. There again, as we look through the range of the road. You can see the area there, which is the salt pond, and as we continue easterly there, easterly direction, that lone palm tree there, that is where the Flushing Channel will come through and drain into this area, which is now the salt pond, which will become all marina. Back through, and there again now we're starting to look in a true easterly direction. From there again, the high point, and the view is such in almost in all directions. You see the sea. This is on a line that runs 400 feet east of and parallel to the west boundary line of Anguilla. I'm standing at this point where I'm standing is 500 feet to the sea, and I'm on a little mound here. It heads back over to another 280 feet. So the far edge is 780 feet from the sea and about 400 foot east of the west line of Anguilla. This is the road looking towards the sea and panning towards the west. This is the roadway that continues westerly over to the west line of Anguilla. Okay, this is the same location, but now looking easterly to the road that goes easterly back to the pine forest in that area in there. And if you look at this soil, it's a good brown, sandy, loam soil. Okay, I'm standing on a little knoll after the road that I'd walked down. At this point, this is approximately the west line of Anguilla. And this road continues in that pond in front of us that you can see the cattails. In there is the small pond that is east of the Finger Lake. From this viewpoint, the same place I just was at, those trees, I lost them, right there, that is fence rock. As we pan, this is the view that you would see from this one area. The ocean is to my back now and about 400 feet away. This is Wednesday. Coastal is loading all their material into the plane. Getting everything loading in, get it ready. There we go, he's happy he's leaving, I think. I'm looking due east from the proposed golf club. This is the east, this is the dual carriageway, and that's the dual carriageway. I'm panning to the west. You can see the part of the dual carriageway in the foreground. And that's part of the east perimeter road in the background. Pan around, you can see the vista, the range of the hills. This is there again, it's a dual carriageway. As we go back further, you see the ocean way out in the distance. It's another one of the high hills that we have cleared. We come into the vista, you can see where the salt pond is located, which will become the future marina, and the ocean right behind it. This is the road that we just came up to this area. As we come around, you will see the roads that go around. You'll see the clear water of the existing marina excavation. We come around further. That's the area that's been cleared adjacent to the existing marina and flushing channel. That area that we're looking at right now is where the lodge and hotel site is dedicated to be. Adjacent to these casuarinas is where two of the golf holes will be going through. That's the pine forest or the casuarina beach. The property extends down. That, that row of pine trees and casuarinas is approximately the west property line with a vista. It's just a general view of the hills around the project. This road continues to the west a short distance, and as you look this way, looking to the south and to the west, you'll see the mid-range that dissects the property And then between there is a natural valley, and then another second range of hills beyond that. As we swing back, the panoramic view. Looking at the sea from the lodge site, looking at the breakers coming over the reef at low tide. This is the day after Hurricane Dennis. It was about 130 miles offshore. Rain and wind, but that was all. Looking more to the west now. Site's been cleared.
That's enough for one shot. I mean, you don't have to put that no place. Just.
This is from the pine forest, looking easterly as the waves come over the breakers.
Water been up here?
Okay, we're out on the edge of the salt pond, just off of the east property line, looking towards the island on the adjacent piece of land, and you can see the expanse. The land on the other side, even though it's natural, almost looks like it's manicured. Going westerly.
It's a nice grass, a nice festive.
It's the most easterly road in the subdivision that we're now clearing. And this is approaching the salt pond, edge of the salt pond. This would be the south bank. I'm now pointing in a westerly direction. You can see way in the background one of the cleared hills. This is, of course, the salt pond coming back. That's the peninsula now on the far side. And you can see the area. It almost looks like it's been mowed and lawned, but it's just by nature that's done that. And the salt pond, this is the island in the salt pond, which will be remaining and have water around it.
You didn't see that country, they would think you were in Illinois, in the United States.
And this area, approximately right there, will be where the flushing channel to the sea is cut through. This is standing again on the east road looking towards the salt pond, and the dozer cutting through the bush to create the road. It's difficult to see, but there's quite an elevation change. Right where the tractor is now, he's on a ridge. We're coming up to the ridge now. Continue that ridge to the east to create that other new road. Easterly road that's now cleared to the salt pond. Not graded finally, but cleared. We're on the southeast side of the salt pond and south of the island, and showing the expanse between the island and the land. And it's looking way to the north. We're now standing on the east side of the island, looking northerly and looking at the island. And back to the main pond. And there's the high hill again. And this is back down to where the easterly road comes in. We're in the northeast side of the island, standing back over and going in towards the north. This is the shoreline, and let's quote the westerly side of the salt pond. You notice a natural low grass area all the way through here. This is north-northeast. Swinging more in an easterly direction now. Wide open area. This area does have low marsh spots in it. This is clearing the brush through really virgin territory. I'm standing on the easterly road looking east, and this is trying to place the road to the east and then north around the existing salt pond.